Yep, and so you've got the first wrapping exactly where it should be.
All right.
Okay, the halacha would say where that should be, I guess, is about 3 fingers above the arm joint, but basically on the belly of the muscle, and that's where most people wrap that.
The position here is inclined enough towards the
Right,
heart.
perfectly,
Okay.
absolutely perfect. Now you are rotating and wrapping across here, wonderful. By the way, feel that point right there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That should hurt a little bit, right?
Yeah, if you move this strap down just the tiniest bit,
It will
you're
hit
going to
that.
intersect that point. Now, I'm not sure if this has actually a mental benefit, but whenever you find a tender spot like that, you know that's an acupuncture
Gotta
point.
be, yeah.
This is a powerful point called large intestine 11, and it clears heat out of the body, which is irritation.
Wow.
Okay, now your wrapping around here is fairly perfect. The most important 2 points on the arm are lung 7, which is located at the styloid process. Now you're right over that. Feel that bump right
Yes,
there?
yes.
Right there is the acupuncture point. That's the command point for the head and neck. It also is on the lung channel and helps with coughs and sore
Really?
throats. Yeah,
Wow.
we use that for treating coughs and sore throats. Now, heart 7 is located right here.
Looks like I'm missing that one.
At that bone. Yeah, I would simply move this wrap up maybe that much so that
Okay.
you feel the edge of that wrapping right along
Yeah,
there.
yes.
Now, feel free when you're davening with the Tephillin on to touch the wraps
can
and
feel it.
stimulate that point.
What's the general point? If you feel a little tenderness,
Right,
or
if you feel the
pain?
tenderness, it's right there. If you feel the edge of this bone right here, right at the edge, that's heart 7. That's the point there. So that,
Is
right.
that it?
Um,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right,
Yeah. It wasn't-
right there.
Okay.
Okay.
So this. Oh. So it would be the last one that would hit it, or
Well, I think you'd use this one right here,
the second to last.
second to last one, because that one's crossing. That one's already off the wrist at that point.
Okay. So this has to go up
Yeah,
quite
just-
a bit there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, now your hand points, you're catching small intestine 3, where this wrist crease falls across right
Yeah,
there, right at the edge is small intestine 3. You've got that perfect.
Okay.
Large intestine 4, right here in the part of the thumb, the fleshy part located right here.
Yes.
You've also got that very good.
Okay.
That improves circulation throughout the entire body and also clears up headache, by the way.
I do get those from time to time.
Well, this point right here is very good for treating headaches right there.
So okay.
Particularly headaches in the frontal region, particularly.
Now I noticed there was some kind of a spot over here on the finger.
Well, this finger here is the end of the pericardium channel. The pericardium is known as the heart protector. So you're stimulating your entire heart protective channel just through this wrapping right through here. Again, on the last show, we talked a little bit about pericardium 6, located right in this area here.
Okay.
But you've got the entire pericardium channel.
And how tight should it be to effectively stimulate these points?
As tight as you've got it is fine. Even looser would be fine or tighter,
Okay.
but you don't want to cut off circulation.
Okay.
That's
I got you.
important. I mean, often enough, you're davening for half an hour or 45 minutes. You don't want your arm to fall asleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me just move towards you a little bit for the head. I'll show
Okay,
you how
sure.
I am over here.
Now, of course, we would want to get this shell roche centered right directly. In fact, you often use a mirror to make sure it's literally on the center.
Yes.
The knot on the very back, that feels very good. I might put it the tiniest bit lower.
Okay.
You've got it up about a ½ inch.
Yes.
But you want it to be right at the base of that occiput, that bone, right at the base of the skull.
Now, would I have to loosen up? I have to get a little more length on my
Yeah,
straps here?
I would just open that knot up a tiny bit. It's not hard to do, but it would take a little bit of time.
Well, that's a very interesting knot, that four-way knot. I've tried to open it. You
It's very
open it from this side.
complicated.
It's like a trick knot or something.
It's like a Chinese puzzle, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
So, but you have a book on that?
Yeah,
to help me?
there's a very good book. I'll be glad to get you a copy of it. It's called The Halachos of Tephillin. And I have I've got several books on Tephillin, but that one is probably the best one, and shows actually how to tie the knots.
Wow. So these halachot are actually directing people, maybe not consciously, but the directives that are in them lead to greater stimulation of these meridian points.
Right. If you follow the halachot, you're going to hit these points. You can't help but hit these points. They do say in the halachot of Tephillin that if you do this incorrectly, it's as if you leave your Tephillin in the bag.
Wow.
So you have to follow the halachot, which you're doing. We're only changing things by 1/4 of an inch or a
Right.
tiny, tiny amount. But the difference in acupuncture between being on the point and off the point can be 1/4 of an inch. So if you want to hit the point, you've got to get it right.
Okay.
So
Fabulous.
you're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay. Now, my Tephillin, this is the Ashkenazic style.
Right.
Would you care to demonstrate the Sephardic style?
I'll be glad to do that, sure. I used to wrap Ashkenazi style till I did this study, and I realized that there would be greater benefit by switching traditions. So I wrap a Hasidic style on the upper arm, and then I go to a Sephardic wrap on my hand. I know I'm mixing traditions, but
For good reason.
for a good reason.
So, my style is the Ashkenazi style.
Right.
It would be great if you'd show us, and I know normally we're quiet when we say the brachot and everything, but if you could instruct us, that would be great.
Okay. Normally I'd be doing this standing too. The Tephillin, I take out the left-hand one first, which is the...
Wow, those are humongous.
They're called 4x4s.
Wow.
They're big squares. I had a Hasidic rabbi who's a sofer, who's one of my patients. He says, "Let me make these for you." And he started them, interestingly enough, on the first day of Hanukkah many years ago. He said, "This is the first day. We're going to make these so they bring a lot of light into the world."
Wow.
The only thing I've changed on them is I've changed the style of the wrapping from an Ashkenazi style to a Sephardic style.
Okay.
Okay, so again, I would put this on like so.
You're
again,
wrapping away from you.
Away from me. And again, I noticed that the point here along
Yes.
is right where this knot goes. Okay? And then I wrap this tight against the base, and I make, again, you've got a shin here now.
Oh, you do the shin. Okay.
Yep. So I do that shin.
That's the Hasidic.
Right. Then as I wrap across the arm here, I contact heart 3. Okay, so I make sure that I feel that point right there. And then I do 4 and then 3. Okay, so at this point, I've contacted here, right here, at the edge of the bone right here, right before the bone. You can feel that, right? You can feel the edge of the Tephillin here. Feel how that contact's going this way, right there. That's the edge of lung 7. Heart 7, I haven't actually contacted yet. It's right here. I'm going to do that when I get to the heart, when I get to the hand points.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so I just wrap this around because we're done with this part of it.
And that's the same as the Ashkenazi.
Right. This is exactly the same. So both Hasidic and Sephardic wrap away. They all contact the same points. Then the head Tephillin, Shel Rosh. Let's see. Get these straps down. And what I usually do is I just make sure I can see the box centered on my head as I pull it back, and then I catch the bottom of the knot right here at the base of the skull, right there.
Yes.
Why don't you feel where that presses?
Yes.
And you can see where that is.
Yes.
Okay, that's the point. And then I pull the straps down and tighten this. So I actually feel the pressure across the top of the skull. Okay, I mean, I feel that pressure. Then when I wrap the hand, we're done with that portion of it. So I come across, and there are many, many styles of wrapping the hand. And they all basically have 3 wraps around the middle finger.